So Cohh Carnage had previously talked about this a little bit in one of his recent streams, but he has finally come out on Twitter and he's released a lengthy statement in the form of a multi-comment thread, which we're going to be reading through today, talking about how he is very unhappy with the state of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and he is very disheartened. He's not happy with his investment. Not my words, his words. We're going to go through it here. You don't have to take my word for it. We're going to have a link to this in the description below so you can go read this at your leisure. Also, you can go watch his stream if you want to talk about it more with him in greater detail. But I think this is a very interesting development in the ongoing chaos around Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and Visionary Realms' failure to deliver an MMORPG and this last-ditch Hail Mary effort to deliver some sort of a hacked together extraction mode thing called 24/7 that they are hoping is going to generate funds because they no longer have any money and they really don't have anybody. There's one full-time person working on that, and that's Chris Perkins' job. But not my statement. Go read the news article over at mmorpg.com. We linked that in the other piece of news the other day. There's a lot of stuff to go through here, but let's just get into Cohh Carnage's thoughts. I think the most important thing to think about here and to pay attention to is Cohh Carnage is a known entity, and when you have an investor who has put a significant amount of money in and they come out in the public and make these kinds of statements, your company is not in a good place. Angel investors aren't really going to be out there making statements, but Cohh Carnage is not an angel investor in the sense that he is a known entity and he's actually put his thoughts out there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and read through this. He says, I've been getting tons of questions about my thoughts on Pantheon recently. We talked about it on stream, but here are my current thoughts. I want the EverQuest 2 I never got, a modern social MMO with classic style mechanics that I could sink my teeth into for years. I invested in the project early, gave it my time, and even did some streams with the developers. I liked what I was seeing, but it's been slow, painfully slow. A while back they did the first open test, basically made a character and just play the game. I liked it. It felt good. Obviously it needed a lot more, but the foundation was there. The pipelines went, and I thought things were moving on the right tracks. Game dev is hard, and I felt that they were doing their best. Then they announced the new art style. Strike number one. Not a fan. I don't like cartoony MMOs, so that's strike number one. Reasoning is so that we can finish the game faster, but it's already been so long. What's faster? Another 3 to 5 years? I get the reasoning and I want to play the game, but it's disheartening to see this change at this stage. Strike 2. Then we find out about the recent 24/7 project. This is strike 3. I don't like it again. At this point, this isn't what I signed up for. Strike 4 because he invested money in this project. It's not possible that this won't take resources from the already slow progress of what I do want to play, so I'm not really sure about it. I will try it, but again, this isn't why I'm here. I'm here for the MMO. You, sir, like I would argue the vast majority of people who backed the failed Kickstarter and who have backed the game over the years and who believed in Brad McQuaid's vision for the next version of EverQuest, the next version of Vanguard. Nobody wants this extraction mode. This is the Hail Mary last-ditch attempt to try to generate funds. Not my words. Read the press releases from Visionary Realms, everybody. It's out there for everyone to see. They talk about how they need this to get the investors hyped up because crowdfunding has dried up. So he says, how do I feel? Disheartened, for sure. The project seems further away than ever. I still want to play the MMO so very badly, but the reality of the situation is that it's still years away. That's another strike. And frankly, I was hoping to be playing it years ago. That's where we are. I'm still going to be following the project. There's a ton of great people trying to make this work. I hope 24/7 is what they want it to be and that it works for them. I wish them the best and really, really hope they buckle down and get us that MMO we all want to play. And then there's a whole shit show of everything going down here in the comments below for those of you who want to take the time to read through that. So he is diplomatic in his approach, far more diplomatic than I have been, but I'm not an investor in the company, nor do I have any skin in the game other than reporting on the news, because when there's a train wreck like this, it is in the news cycle, and I make a living on YouTube. So even though I haven't covered Pantheon in like a year plus, it's back in the news cycle again. I think actually we talked about this. One of the last times I covered this was when they did the big sit down with Cohh Carnage last year when he announced that he was an investor, and they sat down and Chris Rowan broke down all the numbers and made claims and statements that turned out to be nothing but smoke and mirrors and quite frankly, lies as far as we've been able to tell so far. Things like we have 24 full-time employees, but 35 if you count part-time. And then Chris talking about Chris Perkins was talking about in the Q&A they did the other night about 24/7. Again, not me. Read the news articles. I didn't make this up. I'm just reporting the news, saying that he's the only full-time person working on the project right now. Everybody else is part-time, and that they're probably going to have to be looking towards volunteers at some point, or at least that's something they're considering if they don't raise funding, and that's what 24/7 is all for. So that's Cohh Carnage's statement. As you can see, he's disheartened. He's not happy with the art style changes. He's not happy with 24/7. This is not the MMO that he signed up to invest in, nor is it the MMO that he wants to play. I got to give credit where credit is due here, because he has been, as I said, way more diplomatic than I would have been had I been in his shoes. If I had put money into this project and they had pulled this bait and switch that they've done, I would immediately be getting my lawyer on the horn and be saying, how do I either get my money back or get these guys to court and figure out how to get my money back? Because at this point, you're dealing with something where nothing that you have invested in or been promised or been talked about has actually been produced. They've changed the art style multiple times. They made this whole fuss about HDRP pipeline. We got to move to the HDRP pipeline because we got to have the best graphics in the world, like 2 years ago or something. And then all of a sudden, bait and switch, got to reduce the graphics to a RuneCraft style, cartoony style World of Warcraft thing because it's going to help us get the game out faster. But as Cohh Carnage here says, what's faster? It's still another 3 to 5 years. You know, he says they get the reasoning, but it's disheartening to see the change at this stage. And then we find out about the 24/7 project. And here's the kicker for me. If you read these statements, now I haven't been able to watch all the discussions that he's had on stream, because I also stream and have content creation and have had the dentist and doctors and cats and all the other stuff for the homestead, so I haven't had a chance to watch all his stuff. But if you go back and look at the way he's making his statements here, I could be reading into this, so, you know, take this as you will with a grain of salt. Then we found out about the recent 24/7 project, which makes it sound like no one from Visionary Realms reached out to him and said, hey, Cohh, as an investor, we want to keep you up to speed with what we're doing as a company. So we're going to be doing this thing and announcing it to the public and all this other stuff. This does not sound like that at all. This sounds like then we found out about 24/7. And again, I could be reading into this, but it suggests to me, and if anyone out there has watched his streams and he has said otherwise, please let me know. But it sounds like what he's suggesting here is that he found out with the rest of us about the 24/7 mode. It was just all of a sudden, hey guys, we're doing 24/7, and by the way, we're monetizing it because as the press statement says, crowdfunding has dried up. We have to be able to monetize this. We're tying it into all these pledges. It's in their most recent newsletter that came out like a week ago. This is a thing. It is monetized. It is their Hail Mary. This is how they're hoping to provide enough ongoing funding to show proof of interest to an investor or potentially maybe even a publisher, who knows at this point. But end of the story is Cohh Carnage is not happy. And I think this just goes to show you, because Cohh is one of the most reasonable, level-headed streamers that I know. He's definitely not like Asmongold. He's way more level-headed than I am. He definitely swears a lot less than I do. And he's taking this on the chin, and he's being diplomatic here while also expressing his discontent. And as an investor, I can only imagine how he feels, because I know how the people feel who have put money into this game to play an alpha that they're not actually playing, an MMO that they're not actually getting after a decade of smoke and mirrors, and gonna change the art style, gonna change the zones, Project Fairthal 2018 saying we're fully funded all the way to launch. And now being told, if you watch the Q&A from last night, or I guess at this point, I'm recording this on the evening of the 27th, so this will be airing on the morning of the 28th. Them saying during the Q&A on Discord the other night that they are still years away from having a launchable product. It's smoke and mirrors at this point, everybody. And Cohh Carnage is not happy. Neither are a lot of people. It's not a good time to be anybody from Visionary Realms, because Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, looks like it has gone up in smoke and maybe vaporware at this point. Love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Don't forget the Discord. Member videos if you're a member to the channel. And don't forget we're multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time now, so follow along on Twitch as well. Till next time, everybody, stay safe. Happy gaming.